Nuclear energy currently accounts for approximately 20% of US electricity generation, making it the largest source of clean electricity in the country. However, the number of operating nuclear reactors in the US has been decreasing due to closures and economic challenges. The narrative surrounding EVs as a clean and environmentally friendly alternative to traditional gasoline-powered cars is not without its complexities and environmental concerns. One of the primary issues lies in the environmental aspect of lithium mining, a critical component of EV batteries.
Welcome to TFIGlobal, the antidote to mass delusion.
In a recent address to Congress, Wyoming's Representative Harriet Hageman criticized the Biden administration for its management of electric vehicle charging infrastructure projects, labeling them as wasteful and failed initiative. Hageman's speech given in support of SJR 38 aimed to rescind a Biden administration rule that waived Buy American requirements for federally funded EV projects. Hageman accused the administration of squandering billions in taxpayer dollars on EV charging infrastructure without delivering tangible benefits. She argued that the Biden administration is not only continuing to fund a quote-unquote crackpot environmental project, but is also relaxing domestic production requirements in a bid to salvage the struggling EV industry. This move, according to Hageman, would lead to American taxpayer dollars being spent on charging infrastructure made from foreign materials, particularly those from China. The Congresswoman expressed concern over China's dominance in EV manufacturing and the production of critical materials needed for these vehicles. She suggested that the Biden administration's policies are increasing US reliance on China and other adversarial nations while neglecting investment in domestic energy resources and infrastructure. Hageman argued that these actions could exacerbate energy poverty in the US and undermine national sovereignty, all in pursuit of questionable climate goals. Asserting the need for energy independence, Hageman called for a resistance to the administration's push towards an electric future. She advocated for solutions that would empower the US to regain its energy and manufacturing independence. As part of her stance, Hageman proposed defunding one of the EV programs through an amendment in the appropriations process. Hageman concluded by declaring the Biden administration's rule as misguided and ill-timed, urging her colleagues to support the resolution against it. The Biden administration's investment in electric vehicle charging structure, a cornerstone of its environmental and infrastructural energy, has been both ambitious and substantial and may be wasteful. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Law (BIL) signed in 2021 earmarked $7.5 billion specifically for the development of tens of thousands of EV chargers across the United States. In addition to the BIL funding, the administration has actively utilized other grant programs to further its EV infrastructure goals. The National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or the NEVI program, for instance, was endowed with $5 billion to create a network of high-speed EV chargers along major highways, envisioning a future where long-distance EV travel is feasible as with gasoline vehicles. Similarly, the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program in October 2023 allocated $623 million for 47 EV charging projects. This funding is expected to add approximately 7,500 charging points, significantly expanding the nation's EV charging capabilities. While the full extent of the funds utilization remains unclear, President Biden himself has indicated that a substantial sum has already been allocated to various subs. Assuming a conservative estimate that 40% of the funds have been spent, this would still translate to at least $3 billion directed towards EV infrastructure development. The mindless investment in EV infrastructure only underlines the administration's commitment to combating climate change, and that's pretty much it. The long-term impact of these investments, however, will be determined by the effectiveness of their implementation and the public's adaptation to EV technology. In the context of the Biden administration's approach to EV charging infrastructure, the transparency surrounding contract awards and the involvement of foreign entities, particularly Chinese companies, requires careful examination. While specific details about companies receiving contracts under the new rule are not available, the Department of Transportation and associated agencies are actively engaged in the proposal review and contract award process. Contrary to the Trump administration's tacit policy of restricting Chinese involvement in American projects, the new rule under the Biden administration does not preclude Chinese companies from participating in the EV charging infrastructure projects. However, it is noteworthy that a significant portion of the materials and technology used in these projects is sourced from China, as pointed out by Congresswoman Harriet Hageman. This scenario raises questions about the extent of Chinese involvement and influence in these critical infrastructure projects. To navigate the Buy American requirements, many Chinese companies operate through US manufacturing units or form partnerships with American firms, thereby aligning with the legal and regulatory framework. While the Biden administration splurges on EVs, the United States' approach to domestic energy resources under the Biden administration presents a pretty sorry picture, marked by significant lost opportunities in sectors like fracked oil, geothermal energy, and nuclear energy. The early 2021 decision by Biden administration to pause new federal oil and gas lease sales on public lands has been a subject of considerable debate. Critics argue that this move constrains domestic energy production and economic growth. According to a 2022 report by the Non-Partisan Congressional Budget Office, that is a CBO, this policy could lead to a reduction of US crude oil production by 2 to 3 million barrels per day by 2030, compared to baseline projections. Furthermore, the CBO estimates a potential loss of $7 to $14 billion in government revenue over the next decade due to this pause. Geothermal energy, despite being a clean and renewable resource, faces significant permitting challenges and regulatory hurdles. These barriers have stifled its development and utilization. The Department of Energy estimates that the US has the potential to generate 380 gigawatts of electricity from geothermal resources, which is sufficient to power millions of gigawatts. However, as of now, only about 3.7 gigawatt of geothermal capacity is operational in the United States. Nuclear energy, a critical source of clean electricity, has not faced active discouragement from the Biden administration. Nevertheless, it suffers from a lack of significant policy support and public concerns related to safety and waste disposal. Nuclear energy currently accounts for approximately 20% of US electricity generation, making it the largest source of clean electricity in the country. However, the number of operating nuclear reactors in the US has been decreasing due to closures and economic challenges. The narrative surrounding EVs as a clean and environmentally friendly alternative to traditional gasoline-powered cars is not without its complexities and environmental concerns. One of the primary issues lies in the environmental aspect of lithium mining, a critical component of EV batteries. Lithium extraction is notably water-intensive, demanding significant water resources for both extraction and processing. This intensive usage can lead to water scarcity in already vulnerable areas. Moreover, if lithium mining and processing are not conducted responsibly, there is a potential risk of land and water contamination, posing serious environmental hazards. Another concern is the degradation of lithium-ion batteries, which are central to the operation of EVs. These batteries typically have a lifespan of 3 to 5 years before their efficiency declines and they require replacement. This relatively short lifespan raises questions about the sustainability of EVs, as frequent battery replacements imply increased production and with attendant environmental costs. Additionally, the disposal and recycling of these batteries present significant environmental challenges. Lastly, the fire risk associated with EV batteries cannot be overlooked. There have been documented cases of battery fires, and while statistically rare, these incidents highlight a safety concern. So while EVs offer a reduction in carbon emissions compared to traditional vehicles, their environmental footprint is immense. Issues such as impact of lithium mining, battery degradation, and fire risks are critical issues that need to be addressed fully. The concept of a hydrogen economy, where hydrogen is used as a primary energy carrier, offers a potentially transformative approach to energy and transportation, distinct from the electric vehicle EV focus prevalent in the United States. Countries like Japan and India are aggressively pursuing hydrogen technologies, envisioning a future where hydrogen fuel cells power vehicles, producing only water vapor as emissions. This approach presents a stark contrast to the EV-centric strategy of the US, where the EV lobby's influence is a barrier to hydrogen's development. Hydrogen fuel cells, when utilized in vehicles, generate no harmful emissions, with water vapor being the only byproduct. This characteristic positions hydrogen as an ideal candidate for significantly reducing both air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. The potential benefits of a hydrogen economy extend beyond environmental factors. Hydrogen fuel derived from abundant resources can be produced through various methods, including electrolysis and natural gas reforming. These processes, particularly when powered by renewable energy sources, could lead to a substantial decrease in the cost of hydrogen production, making it economically competitive with traditional fossil fuels and EVs. However, in the US, the robust EV lobby has been instrumental in shaping energy and transportation policies, potentially overshadowing the opportunities presented by hydrogen technologies. The dominance of EV-related discussions and investments may inadvertently hinder the exploration and adoption of hydrogen as a viable alternative. So, Congress Wyoming's representative Harriet Hageman's criticism, while correct, is not complete. Biden isn't just doing it for China, he's also doing it for the EV lobby.